Welcome to the Glenn Beck program, and a special welcome to those watching at the Hillary Clinton, George Soros-created Media Matters headquarters here in Washington, D.C. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I wanted to congratulate everybody at Media Matters on the totally awesome job that you're doing. Like the report you had just the other day on me, calling me a hypocrite for questioning the Ground Zero Mosque Imam Faisal Abdul Rauf, because as you noted in your press release earlier this week, I appeared to call Rauf a good Muslim in 2006, and your evidence, I must say, was overwhelming.
Let me turn to Glenn Beck, because the Imam Rauf has said this is a group of people. This is not him. This is not all of Islam. This is just a group of people.
Sure, that was it. Media Matters also showed the damning evidence that I appeared to gesture towards Rauf when I was saying, you know, good Muslims. Bravo. I could have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those pesky kids. Obviously, I'm complete BFFs with Faisal. No, seriously. But speaking of pesky, facts sometimes are pesky, Media Matters, especially when you work where you work, getting the George Soros money. Let me show you how you at Media Matters originally reported the very same story from the very same interview in 2006. I wonder if they're the same.
Not all of Islam. This is just a group of people.
Sure. I believe it's a small portion of Islam that is acting in these ways, but I believe that it is important for all of us to look evil in the eye and crush it.
See, here's the problem. They're using the same, this one is now, and they're saying, see, I endorse him, he's good. This one is using the same video clip and saying, I hate all Muslims. That's weird. Using the same thing, highlighting different words. That's what, you know what, Media Matters, you guys are good. You need to keep looking at that interview, see what you can come up with. Now, I got it. Tomorrow, issue a third release where maybe I'm the imam and he's the crazy guy. That would be great. Hello, America. From Washington, D.C. all this week, because on Saturday, and you can see, they are building, you see over on the side, restoring honor on each side. Those are the Jumbotrons. I think there are 6 Jumbotrons all the way down past the reflecting pool. I'm hoping you come, or it'll be weird for me with just a bunch of Jumbotrons. But we are doing something absolutely amazing on Saturday. We'll give you more information on it. We would love to see you here. By the way, the weather here in Washington is incredible, and it is supposed to be sunny, pleasant, low humidity. I mean, dare I say it, God is smiling. Now, let's talk about Vice President Joe Biden. Came out yesterday talking about how great the stimulus has been, yada, yada, yada. I want you to listen to what the Vice President said yesterday.
We're turning this great ship of state around that was wandering out to sea, and it's heading back to port. Now, look, now it's not happening as fast as any of us would like, and certainly not fast enough for the millions of folks who are still out of work. But there isn't any doubt we're moving in the right direction.
There is no doubt that we're moving the right. There's no doubt. Okay. So I just want to get that. We're headed on the right track. And there's no doubt. You know what? Can I tell you something? I kind of disagree with that. And that may be the understatement of the century. What do you think, America? You don't need an expert. What do you think? What does your gut tell you? Are we headed in the right direction? I want you to look at the track records. Joe Biden, me. Try to focus, you know, not on the hair plucks. Who's been more accurate? I don't think you need my opinion or Joe Biden's opinion. You can just read the newspaper. Yes, they still print them, believe it or not. Do you remember the Hindenburg omen that I told you about, what was it, a couple of weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, we talked to you about it. It's a technical indicator that measures several economic factors and helps foreshadow stock market crashes. You know, like 1929, the Hindenburg. When it's triggered, a market crash happens 77% of the time. Well, we told you that it was triggered 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, it was just triggered again last Friday and almost triggered a third time last Thursday. So let's recap, Mr. Vice President. When the Hindenburg omen is in play, this is what usually happens. Oh, the humanity! And just to be clear, in case he doesn't know, it wasn't supposed to burst in flames. This isn't good. Not the right direction. Oh, and by the way, the guy who created the Hindenburg omen, he knows what direction to head to. The exits. Quote, I'm taking it seriously and I'm fully out of the market now. I probably would have stayed in until the beginning of September, depending on the indicators and how they varied. That was my basic plan until the Hindenburg came along. Uh-oh. Oh, the humanity. CNBC economic expert also warning now the floor is about to drop out on the stock market. Financial expert Charles Nenner predicted the Dow will drop to 5,000 in the next 2.5 years. Here's what he said.
If I project from the last low in February 09, I get down to 5,000 on the next down move. My cycles show that there is some pressure now that we can see for a couple of months, but then the yield should go lower for the next 3-4 years again.
CNBC also reported that the U.S. economy is not in a recession. They're making the case now that we are actually smack in the middle of a 1930s style economy. 1930s, Wait a minute, that wasn't good. They showed how a positive GDP outlook and how other moldy, hopeful signs that the press eagerly latching onto are causing many to turn a blind eye. Blind eye? Who's been saying that people have been turning a blind... Oh. America, when I was on radio 4 years ago and I started talking about this stuff, I told you then, get away from politics. I took on President Bush. Nobody wants to report that. I took on President George W. Bush, and I said, this is insanity. Look what we're doing. Look what's happening. That didn't help on talk radio ratings, you know, because they're all zombies. They all just wanted to be on the... It didn't help. Then, to make it even better, I started saying, when the Dow hadn't even hit 14,000 yet, get out of the stock market. The economy is bogus. I lost listeners, I lost stations, I lost money for saying it. Why would I do it? Because I believed it to be true. Just a couple of years ago, when the stock market started to tank, I came in with more cheerful news and said, it ain't done. Listen.
By the way, I don't think this is the bottom. I have changed that, and God help us all, I believe 5,000 is more likely, and it may be below that. We are headed for dangerous times, and this is the perfect storm that I have been warning about.
Guys, look, I can see things over the horizon, and I hope I'm wrong. But I can see them over the horizon. But it's all flat to me. I have no idea when it's coming. It could be a month from now. It could be 5 years from now. I don't know. But the piper is going to have to be paid. So I said that about 5,000. Now CNBC is saying, oh, gee, we might hit 5,000. A year later, I warned about what also was headed our way.
I say that with knowledge of what is coming. And what is coming is... a depression. If you let things fail, a depression is coming.
Okay. Why did I say that? Notice that last sentence. If you let things fail, a depression is coming. Why did I say that? I was saying, don't just say, hey, we can't bail things out. We can't bail things out. Let them fail. No, no, no. I said at the time, let things fail with full knowledge that it means a depression. But you'll never get out. It will be worse if you don't. Finally, I showed you the comparisons to the 1930s just recently. I don't think we should look to Japan. I think we should instead, we're repeating the 1930s. We're repeating the playbook from Woodrow Wilson and FDR. So if we're doing exactly the same thing, wouldn't we get exactly the same results? Let me show you the results from the 1930s, and you compare it. Take Japan off. Isn't that more in line? That's the Great Depression. Okay. I know it is popular and easy to make fun of me. Look at me. And I'm Mr. Doom and Gloom. My wife, honestly, at a friend's 40th birthday party, she actually told me before I got there, don't make anybody cry. Okay, all right. When all the women went downstairs, it ended with a bunch of guys from the stock market. She came up and we were all sitting on the dining room floor, and many of the men were crying, but that's a different story. Maybe a miracle will happen, and I'm wrong. And I hope I am. I don't win in this either. We're all broke. But when you actually look at the facts of what we're doing and what is happening, I'm sorry, but it is pretty darn near impossible to come to any other conclusion that at least, at bare minimum, you should consider it a pretty good possibility. Not a mortal lock, but a possibility. Remember, Joe Biden says, no doubt we're headed in the right direction on the economy. Well, we're just getting started with the news of the day. How about this one? Unemployment, 9.6%. We told you the real unemployment number is 16.5 for July. Government, the federal government, now is on track for the second largest budget shortfall in 65 years. 9.1 of GDP. And in 31 months, Congress has added more than $4.4 trillion to the 10-year spending baseline. Who's going to lend us more money? Equity trading activity on this August is on pace to be the slowest since '99. It's normally slow in August, but having a slow year compared to recent years, not that unusual. But when you got to go back to '99, remember in '99, people weren't trading from their laptops at home. eBay, the baby, wasn't on the BlackBerry firing off transactions in '99. So, to be that bad with all of today's technological advances might be a little alarming for some. Here's a piece of good news that the press would like to report. Gas prices are dropping. Good for you. Well, it is good for your wallet if you want to go someplace. But why? Why are they dropping? That's the question. National average is at $2.70 a gallon. Why is it dropping? It has dropped 4 cents in the past week. Why is it dropping? In a robust economy, prices don't usually start falling until, Labor Day. Labor Day? Why Labor Day? Remember in the summer months? Do you remember when George Bush was in office and we were headed into the spring and gas prices were going up? Everybody in the media said, oh my gosh, do you know what it's going to be like in summer? Why? Because people are on vacation. They're traveling. They're in their cars. They're doing much. That's why. There's also the summer blends. They charge more. There's a bigger demand. So why in the summer months are prices dropping? Because people aren't going on vacations. They're not driving. They aren't doing unnecessary things because they don't have the money or they're afraid to spend it. Why? Because of me or because what's in your gut, America? Is this the right direction? If it is, know why you believe it. How about commercial real estate? This is the other shoe I have warned you was going to drop. Watch. Me personally, I think all this glee on, oh my gosh, we're almost through this is ridiculous because we haven't even hit the commercial real estate or the credit card bubble, which